And I just need your mic check.
Should be good from the other day. Yeah. A little bit. There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Hit that stream button.
One.
Make sure it's streaming.
Should be good to go on the stream.
Okay, let me just make sure. Yep, Big Dookie Chain is live. Why the fuck is it still hush outing shit? It's still hush outing chick. It's whatever. Just run it. We're good. Let's do this.
3 minutes. Well, I'll wait for Vinny to stop drinking.
Yep.
3.
He's never gonna stop drinking.
2.
Oh shit.
1. Go.
Big Dookie Chain, Van Styles, Tash left of me, Nate D-O-double-G behind the cameras, and DJ Rashid is back again.
Salute, fellas.
Round 2, baby.
Round 2.
That's one of those ones.
Round 2, baby.
Round 2. So Rashid,
What's happening?
you were here literally. I mean, it was probably what a week. I think a week ago.
About that, yeah.
About a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
The first episode hasn't even aired yet. We did the live version of it.
Yes.
Live stream, but it hasn't even aired yet. That actually airs next week. I think Thursday coming up it airs.
Okay.
So just to fill us in, the last time we talked to you, we got into a whole bunch of stuff. We started with the beginning of the Superiors. We got all the way to the Dr. Dre tour.
Right. Yeah.
But in the middle, we'll get back to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of that, though, we talked about your group Superiors and you guys having a song called Step by Step.
Correct.
And then Nuke is in the Block
Correct.
covering that song some way or another. We'll get to that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the gist of it was Nuke is in the Block also came out with the same song, Step by Step.
Correct.
And we talked about that.
Yes.
And then after talking about that on the live feed, you started to get phone calls.
Yeah, a lot of phone calls.
Okay. So let's start there and kind of explain what's going on, and then let's go from there.
So basically, after I left, I didn't know that we was streaming live. I didn't know that the live stream was actually out there for so many days. So I'm home, I'm just chilling, and all of a sudden, boom, my phone's ringing. I'm getting all these calls. Like, hey, man, listen, you know, what you were discussing on the podcast, it went crazy, you know. New kids, you know, saying this is what's happening right now. You know, you're talking about the song and people stealing it and the negativity, such and such. And I'm like, no, it never said they stole the song, you know, at all. I'm talking about my feelings about 30, 35 years ago. I'm telling my truth. And we're talking about how I started, where I'm going, and where I'm at. So it was, you know, since we left it alone. A few days later, phone's ringing again. Boom. You know, people I haven't heard from in years. You know, I haven't spoken to in years. Probably in 30 years. Hitting me. Listen, this is gonna get crazy. You know, we're gonna talk about attorneys, you know, cease and desist letters, and the whole nine. And I'm like, for what? Like, nothing was said wrong, you know, at all. Nothing was said wrong. Anyone who, you know, like, well, you came off real negative about the group, you know, this, that, and the third.
What group?
You know, New Kids on the Block, you know, or you came off negative. I was like, there's nothing negative about it. I'm just telling you about how I felt. This is my truth, right? Mm-hmm. So now basically it's like, oh, well, you know, this is gonna get, you know, it's gonna get ugly. You know, you gotta pull this. You gotta pull it. I'm like, well, I mean, you can talk to the podcasters, the journalists, if that's the case, if that's what's going on. But at the end of the day, I don't think no one did anything wrong. No one said anything wrong, and people's opinions, right? So at the end of the day, you know, we left it alone.
So just like get into like the story, so people kind of follow what's going on. Your uncle is Maurice Starr, who produced Nuke is in the Block.
Yes.
You were in a group called Superiors.
Yes.
That was a touring group that was on the Billboard charts in Boston, touring the country, doing shows across the nation with touring acts. You were someone that was on the Billboard charts in the past. You had a song called Step by Step that you can look up right now on Instagram. I mean, on YouTube. It's on YouTube right now. Your version of Superior is on there. It's on there. Along with a lot of other songs you guys did, not just that one song. There's a whole his albums on there and stuff. So you had a group in New Kids on the Block. Maurice Starr, who happens to be your uncle and happens to produce New Kids on the Block. Step by Step got to them somehow. You talked about that.
Yes.
And then you're getting reached out by their representation saying you can't talk about that.
Yeah, basically, like.
But why?
Now Maurice gave them the song, right? Let them do the song. They covered the song.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that. That's fine.
If that's his business decision, that's his business decision.
Exactly.
He runs the business.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not running the family's name through the negativity. No nothing. I'm figuring we're just having a discussion.
Man.
That's all we're doing.
This is music history, by the way.
It is. It's music history. We're having a discussion.
And we talked about a lot of things, actually, not just that.
No. We wasn't just focused on that. We talked about a lot of things.
It was your story. That was just...
That's all it was.
And
for some reason, they feel the negativity, and I'm like, well, my feelings, how I felt 30 years ago. Today, I'm good. I'm fine. It is what it is. But 30 years ago, plus years ago, I felt some type of way. So basically, it's like, well, why didn't I ever speak on this then, right? Maybe, at the end of the day, I just, I didn't feel like talking about it at that time. You know what I'm saying? I had other things that was going on.
Why didn't you talk about it then?
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I did speak on it, but I didn't speak to it in public. I spoke, to certain people about it and stuff like that. So it was just a conversation.
People got to realize too, back then when you don't have representation and there are no platforms, there's no way to really speak about these things.
No.
See, we live in an age now where all these these MCs and all these legendary people in the music business in general can now, the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, all these older people now can get on platforms and tell the behind the scenes stories, tell all that shit about how it all went down. It's actually super fucking interesting if you're a music fan, because now you get to peel the onion back and you get to look at the layers of shit they knew so and so and knew so and so and they were there and it's super fucking interesting. And you can do it all now.
Exactly.
It's just because the blog are off limits, we can't talk about them.
And at the end of the day, what's funny is that...
No, what I'm asking is are we not allowed to talk? Are we not allowed to talk about the blog?
That's what I was asking. And it's like, oh no, you can speak about the, the cover of the record and stuff like that, but we're talking about the negativity. And I'm like, well, where's the negativity? Because I felt a certain way 30 years ago, that's negative towards them, or I'm saying something bad about the family. I'm not saying nothing bad about the family. I'm not trying to drag nobody through no mud or anything. I didn't say, oh, this person stole this or this person robbed me or whatever the case may be. Business is business. That's at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But however I felt at that time, 30 plus years ago, is my business. That's my truth. That's what I stand on. It should be no issue. I shouldn't have to walk on eggshells because I'm talking about something that happened. I shouldn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And there was no malice in my heart. I didn't come to the podcast, to malice in my heart to say, oh man, I'm bashing this person, that person. It had nothing to do with that. I'm just telling you, ask me a question. I'm telling you my story, how I became who I am and where I'm going.
It's a super interesting part of your story. It's only part of your story, but it's absolutely a super interesting part of your story. And the fact that, nobody knows that. I was sitting with people that, I was at a place the other day, I was sitting with people that, know you.
Yeah.
That know you for 30 years, they know you. And I told that story.
Right.
Thinking that they all knew. I'm like, isn't it wild how this all happened? And they're like, what? They had no idea I was talking about you.
Exactly.
And they were like, yeah, Rashid. They're like, DJ Rashid? I'm like, yeah, Rashid. I'm like, yeah, I never heard that shit before. I'm like, really? How long? In 20 years, they've known you in the industry.
Exactly. It never was. I never brought it up. You know what I mean?
Which is crazy to me because it's not that you have to live and die on that, but it's also a talking point.
It is.
It's an interesting It's interesting.
It's very interesting, especially coming from Boston because, like I said, shouts out to Mecca because she had said to me one day, she was like, hey, listen, you need to talk about your situation.
Who's Mecca?
Mecca is a good friend of mine. She's in the Bronx.
Okay.
Mecca, she's an author. She writes books. And
that is authors tend to do.
And she I met her in LA. Me and Breeze Dollars, who was in LA when New Edition was getting their star on Hollywood Boulevard. So we was all out there. And she said to me, she said, man, listen, you need to speak about your group. You need to speak about that because Boston, it's not known for all the other acts that come out of there that's actually really good, that's professional, and had records. And I was like, wow, you got a point there. You know what I'm saying?
I've never heard of the Superiors before. Like, we just looked it up on the Billboard chart.
Exactly. Now there's people that know about the Superiors, but there's people that don't know about the Superiors.
Yeah.
Because it was to me, and like I was speaking on to some of the other members the other night, it's like it was kind of like blocked. You know what I mean? Like this, this business is real tricky. So she was saying, well, you need to talk about this. And that's why several years ago, and this is where a couple of my people come in at, we got footage and we were shooting audio and everything for the documentary. You know what I mean? So this has already been started from several years ago. There's footage now of interviews and everything from people that are going to be a part of the documentary.
You're still going to do the documentary.
We're still going to do it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you should.
Like, why wouldn't we? You know what I'm saying? So that's already been documented already several years ago.
You can, he found an article the other day that this has already been written about, like, on the internet and shit. So this is, like, you can just Google this. This is what blows my mind about the whole thing, too. It's like, it's not like it's hidden. Like, you can Google this shit and, like, it's right there. It's there.
It's in front of you.
So I don't know how, like,
it's in front of you.
We're at the point now, people talk about, like, the Knicks cheating at the lottery, the fucking Tupac murders,
right?
The Biggie murder just got, like, all, like, people talk about, like, actual, real, big, huge deals of, like, things, because, like, it's enough time's gone by, statute of limitations and shit.
Yes.
But for some reason, we can't talk about Lucas in the Block. Like, and for what it's worth, like, what I think is interesting about the whole thing is that there's always the notion of, like, okay, the white fucking people take black music and run with it, X, Y, and Z. Wow. Which to some extent is true, to some extent isn't. We can get into that debate if you want to, but that's whatever. That's a narrative.
Exactly.
Okay, that narrative, right, with certain particular things is absolutely true. And like these R&B boy groups is absolutely one of these narratives that's true. But not even that. They took an actual, like, the actual music. It's not even like they stole black music. Like, they took an actual song that a black act was doing currently. It's not like it was it's also, you don't do cover songs of people that are currently doing
right, that's
songs.
the most bizarre part of this whole story.
It's, and that's the thing.
Do you think that they don't want you talking about this because they project the feeling of it? Like, they feel fucked up about it?
It's weird. It's weird because it seems like,
because they might feel like they snaked you or something. They don't want to bring up old shit. Like, I mean, even if you're not saying that, though, they might feel that way.
I mean, there's a possibility, but, see, like, I never, at the end of the day, like I said, here's a record that was sent to them, they recorded after the fact, they did a cover on it. No problem. I mean,
that's a fact.
It's a fact. I mean, they did a great job. They did whatever they needed to do. And it went to where it went to. No problem. But so what I don't understand is why is there so much negativity and so much hush hush and like y'all can't talk about this. This podcast can't talk about this. You can't, like, this is my story. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just a part of me becoming who I am. And I was in this group that just happened to have a record that was produced, you know what I'm saying, and was given to another R&B group that had success with it.
And then, but it was also the biggest selling record of the year.
It was their biggest selling single. It was their biggest selling single. This is my thing, right? So if this never happened the way it happened, right? So how do they know that when we did the record went the same way? You see what I'm saying? Like I have people saying that, oh, the record wasn't gonna be a hit with you all. You understand what I'm saying?
Did they say why it wasn't gonna be a hit?
No.
Is it because you're guys are black guys?
No.
Because New Edition at the time was also fucking hitting, right?
Yeah, they was hitting. You know what I mean? So this ain't so my thing, how can anyone say that this record wouldn't have been a hit when the Superiors did it? If I feel that if the money was still being put behind the record, right? If we were still signed with the label, I feel that the record could have went to number one also. It could have went to wherever it went to. That's how I feel. I just feel that we was cut at the knees, you know, because of the label situation. And then
that's because Motown was
they was possibly being sold. You know, Barry Gordy was selling pots. So you know what I mean.
When that happened, how long had because it came out on vinyl, the 12-inch single.
It came out. Mm-hmm.
Your version.
Yeah.
How long between when that happened, and like when it was pressed up first, and then Motown dissolving? Or no, actually, New Kids on the Block taking it.
Maybe 4 years after.
4 years.
Yeah, in between. Because I think before you can do a cover of a song, it's about maybe 4 to 5 years before you can actually do a song. You know what I mean? So we did that song about what, 87? We recorded, did it, put it out. 88, it was doing what it was doing, and then that's when it was, you know, they wanted to dissolve everything. I believe they recorded it in 89, 90. It came out in 1990.
How long did you have to work the record before Motown dissolved
it? We really only worked the record, I'm gonna say maybe a year, not even.
Okay.
About around that time.
But the main thing here is you're telling the story that they was never brought up at the time. This record went, you know, platinum or whatever with New Kids on the Block. Right. And like you had said in the last interview, you know, it would have been cool if when they do an appearance on television, you know, there's just never any mention that this was a cover, never any mention of the Superiors.
Well, so on the back of the album, I found out that on the back of the album they speak about Superiors.
Hanging Tough.
On back of the album of the I believe on the step by step on that album there.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's supposed to be on the back of that.
Is Step by Step the name of a New Kids album? Or
I'm not sure. I believe it's.
I forget the names of the album.
Yeah,
I think
because it's whatever album is on that record. It's on the back of it. They mention Superiors on the back of there and everything else, and that's cool. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know,
Step by Step.
You know what I'm saying?
What's the name of the album?
Yeah, Step by Step in 1990.
So it's on there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's cool. It's not a problem.
I'm kind of getting it backwards too because they already had Hanging Tough by the time Step by Step came out.
Yeah. They already had that. They already did what they needed to do. They were
So
successful.
it wasn't the song that blew them up like that, but it took them to like the next level.
They was already huge.
Yeah,
they was already huge.
So is that what they were mad about? They said like they felt that maybe you like.
So I guess.
But even if that's the case, who gives a fuck what you say?
And at the end of the day, basically, like I said, at the end of the day, somebody needed something, right? Here's a record that, okay, I feel that it's like, okay, I don't want this record to go to waste. I know this record is a hit.
Who wrote the record?
You know what I'm saying? So Maurice wrote the record, right? So Maurice produced the record.
Who wrote it?
He produced the record. And he wrote it, right? But now, mind you, we all had writing. Who
had ASCAP?
So at the end of the day, now mind you, either ASCAP or BMI as a group, we was all part of this, right? Now I wrote.
So your name's in the paperwork for ASCAP.
So I wrote on this also. When it comes to the rhymes that's happening inside that song, I wrote also, right? So everyone contributed to the song itself. You know what I'm saying?
I've been like in rooms where like we're definitely all contributing to the song and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But like, did you do like specific lines in the song?
I did specific lines. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to all the rhymes, if you listen to the song, the raps, right? I wrote some of the raps that was on them.
Okay.
That's going on in it.
Are you in the writing credits?
No, we're not in the writing credits.
Why?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, this question was asked 2 days ago when I was speaking to one of the other members, right? And that's why I called you the other night and asked, like, listen, could we do a phoner if they couldn't make it? You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it'd be better for them to come in.
better.
You know what I'm saying? But they had said to me, they was like, "Rob, listen, we don't even have no rider credits on what's going on." And that's, and this don't have nothing to do with.
You're also not looking for any financial compensation or anything like that.
No, because
it's one of your story.
That's all we was doing. We wasn't coming here to try to cash it on a check.
Yeah, you're not.
It had nothing to do with that.
You just
we already knew.
And once again, this is only part of the story that we would have already got past. If this didn't come up, like we were to Dr. Dre's fucking
who's already somewhere else.
We were like ready to go to which we'll still get to.
Exactly.
But like this, obviously, like there's some interest there. It's piquing people's fucking interest.
Yeah, I mean, we was when you contribute to something, it is what it is, right? And it was a fun time. We had a great time. We do what we needed to do. But like I said, there's members that feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? That they never seen nothing. And I feel that I probably broke that ice. I probably broke that barrier. Mm-hmm. By doing this show and talking what's going on now, everyone's like, oh shit, hold on. I can talk now. Let me say what I said because
it's like that Diddy shit. It's like that Diddy shit. Once that fucking first person pulls the string, next thing you know, the whole arm of the sweater's going.
And so that's what happened the other night. You know what I'm saying? I get the phone call. It's like, hey, listen, what's going on, such and such? And I'm like, man. I was like, well, how do you all feel? Did you listen to it? Yeah, I listened to it, man. It was cool to me. I didn't feel that you said anything out the ordinary or was dissing anybody. You were just saying what you were saying. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem, right? And then the fact that about writing credits were like, oh man, listen, you guys, since it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if it's just whatever, a little credits or whatever the case may be, whatever. If you contributed to what you contributed to, it is what it is, right? Point blank across the board, and that's how they feel. You know what I'm saying? So they called me and was telling me like, yo, listen, man, we didn't even get writer credits, man, Rob. You know what I'm saying? On this.
How many people were in the Superiors?
5.
5. And did all 5 of you guys contribute to writing on this?
Everyone didn't contribute to the writing, but at the end of the day, you got to remember when you got a group, we're talking about points, right? We're talking about points.
You're right. Yep.
But each member get points on what happens across the board. So so what's gonna happen? This is what someone's gonna say. They're gonna say, all right, listen, these are the points that you all earned, right? And at the end of the day, the record went in the red, and so you're not gonna get no royalties off of this until we recoup. That's what the record label will say. You see what I mean? And that's the story. That's the case across the board with anything. That's like that loophole. Oh man, listen, the record didn't do what it needed to do. What we put into it went into the red. So
you're not 360 deal.
So it's not. That's not even a 360 deal. It's basically. Look,
just lying.
You didn't. This is what happened. We didn't recoup. You went in the red, so you didn't recoup. So you're not going to be able to get anything off of this, such and such. And that's what happens. That's what we'll be told. Mm-hmm. If you ever ask that question, if you ever ask anyone at the label, that's what we'll be told. Oh, listen, they must have went in the red, so we wasn't able to such and such. You know what I mean? So this is the type of shit happen, but it's the music business. You expect this type of shit. And back then, where I'm at now in my life today in this business, what I'm doing is why I tell independent artists, man, to dot their I's across their T's. Don't ever go through what we had to go through. You know what I'm saying?
Because it can actually go as big as that.
It can.
No one thinks like, oh, you're gonna miss out on the #1 fucking hit. But like that shit can actually fucking happen.
It can happen.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of folks that
almost every #1 hit has this story behind it.
Every last one.
I bet you everyone does because there's someone that probably some of the main writers of these things like just
some people will write a record and don't get no credit at all, point blank, period. Like it just gets snatched from them. Yeah. You know? Or they're figuring they're doing someone justice. Hey man, listen, go ahead, man, do what you do. The writers is the one that make the money. They make money.
But do you feel like you were just too young to know back then and you got taken advantage of? You ended up being a ghostwriter on your own track?
I think basically what happened was I think we was basically excited what was going on.
Yeah.
We're dancing, we're performing, we're having a great time. And again, you're not handling your business. Uh-huh. Because at that time, you really don't have knowledge of the business, right? But we're moving and it becoming a sponge. And that's what happened with me. Being around everybody and being around Travis, and Travis was taking me to different places, I started getting knowledgeable of what was going on. Later on, I end up becoming that person and like, yeah, I know this shit. You ain't going to be able to get over on me. You know what I'm saying? Later on. But it's too late at that time, far as your own career, because it already had happened. You see what I'm saying? At that time. But yes, I think we was just too young. You didn't know. You was having fun. You know what I'm saying? And you really wasn't asking no questions because you want to trust the people that you're around. You see what I'm saying?
So, was Step by Step your guys' biggest hit?
Yeah, that was. I feel that Step by Step was our biggest hit. Well, see, Be My Girl, like I said, was a bubblegum song, but it did some numbers. You know what I'm saying? It did what it did on Critique.
So why do you think he took Step by Step?
When Step by Step was given to us, I believe it was one of them songs. It was an up-tempo song, and it fit our, you know what I'm saying? It fit us. You know what I mean? And I think it did a great job. And I believe that record was, they didn't want to waste it. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
so when he's doing this though, when they use it, is he like, are they coming to you and be like, hey, we're gonna give this other group this song?
Well, that's the thing, and that's what my problem was. Like I was saying in the last interview, basically, I didn't know that was getting ready to happen. You see what I'm saying?
Did you hear it on the radio for the first time or something?
No, like I said, my mother said to me, you know, because this song was recorded. They recorded it after the fact. You know what I mean? Now, I'm still in the group. My contract with the group is still valid. But remember, I told you I had to do a bid. So my contract's still valid. I just decided when I got back, I wasn't going to come back to the group itself, right? By this time, the record's already recorded. They have already recorded the record, and the record's already out. So when I got the message from my mother saying that this record was never done before, that was kind of hurting. You know what I'm saying? Because like, then this is your mom. Your mom saying that she heard that this record was never done before when she has a record in her goddamn house. Sitting right there.
Right. Who told that to her?
You know. So I'm not sure. Know. Yeah, I think she heard like it was either it was on TV or something because she called me and it said that to me.
But it sounds like what really is the problem here is, well, one, just pretending it didn't exist, but two, all of the rights to the song were under Maury Starr's name, not any of his
Yeah. That, you know, every
so he made a lot of money when New Kids on the Block.
Oh, I'm quite sure.
Yeah,
I'm quite sure. I mean, you know, he's a producer on it. You writing on it. You know what I'm saying? And this record is an original record that he wrote. Like you know what I'm saying? It's not like it was written then. It was, I'm quite sure it was already in his catalog somewhere down the line. It was already there. He just said, okay, who am I going to use it on?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Which he tried it with us, and then from there, gave it to them, and it popped.
Okay, you know, it doesn't sound that crazy now that I'm thinking about it.
No,
it's right. It's just interesting history to
that's
find out.
All it is.
Yeah, like
that's all it is. It's just
like,
interesting.
The only crazy part about it is just like the denial of like, oh, that didn't happen.
Right. If somebody would come in here and just deny it, that would be interesting.
That'd be weird. Like, you know what I mean? That is interesting to me. And like the other part about this interesting to me is how like offended everyone is by it. Like the fact that you're talking about it.
Right.
That makes me go, wait a minute, is there more to this than what?
Well, that's
guy because why is everyone?
Well, that's
like,
what I said.
Are the New Kids like some fucking entity you can't talk about? Like this is America,
well,
you can tell whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, things have almost gotten more interesting just because of the response. From
that's what happened with me. I was like, hold on. I was like, I said, what just happened here? Oh man, you was talking negative. You know what I'm saying? This was going on, man. They don't, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, negative. I'm like, all I said was about how I felt. My feelings at the time. Yeah. My feelings at the time. That's all I said.
You didn't do anything violent. You didn't even say anything violent. You didn't like attack anybody.
But to be clear, we need to bleep out parts of the last interview about you talking about how you.
Well, so basically.
Well, it's hard to discuss that without saying it all over.
Right. The part, but I mean,
But it's crazy because it's like, okay, here it is, 30 years back, plus years. If this is how you actually felt back then, that's like you being in high school or middle school, right? And you had a bully. Yeah. And back then, you're like, I couldn't stand him. Something, whatever case may be. That's how you felt back then. But now you guys are cool. You guys own a business together, or you all work for the same company now, right? And everything's cool. And that was like, man, that was water under the bridge, man. Right. Back then, I just take your cupcakes at cafeteria time, whatever, right? It's one of those situations. And so it's like, that's how I felt at that time. Like, I mean, I'm not, and I stand on that. I'm not gonna change the way how I felt back then. That's crazy.
If someone like fucked your girlfriend like 30 years ago when you were in high school, and you were like, when he did that, man, I fucking didn't like him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Like what? You can't be mad about that. Like,
Exactly.
Like, yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Like,
And it's not like I'm going around saying, "Oh man, yo, this, this happened. This one stole all this, man, and saying, and we didn't get our money." And da 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 da. It was nothing like that.
It's just an interesting historical music situation in Boston.
Man. That's it.
And
That's it. And I thought it was cool because it's Boston. Like we all, everyone should be together.
It's a Boston story too, like that no one in Boston really heard, which I think is pretty fucking cool. It's not that big of a deal. Like Motown would do that, like they have Marvin Gaye sing a song, or Frank Sinatra would sing a song, and then fucking Paul Anka would sing the song, and then Dean Martin would sing the song all the fucking time, like the same song, and his version would pop. And
exactly,
that's a thing. But like, why deny it? Why like pretend like it didn't happen? Why act like why cease and desist this conversation? Why?
Right, and what are they going to do when your documentary comes out? You're going to have people talking about how they felt about back then.
Right, exactly. Like. Exactly. I mean, trust and believe me, there's going to be folks that's going to come out and be like, well, listen, this is how I felt, or this is how I still feel.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Hands down.
We're going to get to talk to them, you know what I'm saying, the next couple of days, because I want to hear every side of the story. Like, it just feels to me like we want to, we do all right numbers and shit, but we're not like a Vlad TV that's doing millions of numbers like that. So for the fact that spread so fast, so quickly, to that happen, like
that was crazy.
That's like okay,
that was crazy.
Like, what the fuck? Like
I know. I felt like I made it when I got that phone call.
It was crazy. I was just like, what? And then I turned around and I was like, okay, check this out. I said, okay, well, let me go ahead and I'll make an apology, right? Which I did, right? I made an apology. Said if anyone took offense to this, the wrong way, it wasn't meant that way. It's just that's how I felt, and I'm just standing on that. And this is my story. Like I didn't mean to start anything with nobody, whatever case may be. Boom. Once I did that, it made it worse.
Well, I saw that, and I was like, is this apology? Before you called me, I was like, this is a great promotional tool that he's doing here. But I didn't even know that it was like, I was like, that's a great promotion. I didn't know this.
It's funny, like the difference between me and you, because you see that, and he's like, oh my god, he's faking that, and he's promoting this to like make a big deal out of nothing. Right. I see that, and I'm like, is he gonna make us take this fucking thing down? You know what I mean? Is that friend, like you're a friend of the show, you're a friend of us, you're a good guy. Like I don't want to I want to hold my show accountable for what it is, but at the same time, I don't want to like hem you up and like fuck you up with something dumb, like, you know what I'm saying? But if it's like bullshit, like, so I don't know what to do, because he said, for all I know, he's like being pressured hard behind, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, so I call you, I'm like, oh man, like, what the fuck? I'm like, and he's like, it's good. You're like, oh, just that one part, and you have other shit going on, so I understand that one part. Like, I get that. So, like, once again, as a friend, like, I got you on hip hop.
Really, this is a good thing, because this is getting you back in touch with family members you haven't heard from in a decade.
I haven't.
Is anyone who's like close to you that you talk to on a regular basis who's upset about?
I think basically what it is that it's not that they're upset about it, because basically they would back me. You know what I'm saying? They would back me 100% with it. I just feel that they're getting pressured, right? Because it's coming to them. Because we're so close, right? And we're always doing things together, right? And I feel that now, because I spoke my piece on whatever's going on, I feel that they're being pressured. And by them being pressured like that, which, because they're cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, I at the end of the day, basically, they still, deal with that.
I think a part that we're missing is, like, they all like are family. And they all know each other.
Yeah,
like their own lives and shit. So like, it's like he's the cousin at the table at Thanksgiving right now, bringing up old shit that nobody wants to talk about. It's international stars and shit. So it's like fucking like crazy. But to them, it's like Gary, Mike, and Steve, and they're like, bro, what the fuck's Rashid talking about?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
When you hit me up, you were also like, they're talking cease and desist because New Kids on the Block has a residency in Vegas starting soon. But what would they be cease and desisting, I guess, is at the end of the day? I mean, what grounds do they have for any sort of a cease
just
and desist?
Any kind of negative talk about
any kind of negative.
You just can't talk about New Kids on the Block.
That's what's like fucking like so
weird. But you've only said positive things about the New Kids on the Block.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. The thing.
Well, he did say that he'd wipe the floor with them if like they got into a
back then.
No, he's saying now. They
So when we discussed that, right, about the choreography, right?
Yeah.
It's like that. I mean, what's wrong? That's like a
there's
nothing wrong with that. People do that all the time. There's nothing wrong with
that.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't really.
In fact, like some Drake bitch ass shit, sending the lawyers after motherfuckers like, oh, yeah, like, why don't you come here and dance, motherfucker?
And the thing about it is, like, so when we mentioned,
you've been served.
Right. So basically, right. So me and one of the other members was talking the other night, and like we said, we was going over it, and we was like, well, you know, so basically, our choreographer came in to do the choreography for them, for the step-by-step video, right? So that's cool. It's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, that still doesn't mean that you're going to be able to, and respectfully, if we all was doing what we was doing.
I gotta see this guy on TikTok or something fucking dancing and shit.
Right.
I mean, I think that
I just think it's fun. I think it's fun, right? We're all older now, whatever the case may be, right? And we have fun. And we're still having fun today, right? I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's like, that's just like me. I'm supposed to hold my own. Man, listen, we're the best. You know what I'm saying?
How do you think the new kids would feel? Like, how do you think Donnie Wahlberg would feel if he heard this conversation right now? He doesn't seem like he's a bad guy. Like, how the fuck do you think he'd just be like, what do you think he would say? Like, you know,
but
you think he'd hide from me? You think he'd try to dance off you right now? You think he's trying to out-rap you or some shit?
No, but you think
he would take you like, all right, motherfucker, like.
But his attorney's on board.
But you think they even know?
They know. Oh, they know.
No. They know about the song, but you think they even know that you brought it up?
They don't know.
You think they even care? Like,
well, evidently they must care.
You know, but you understand what I'm asking?
But evidently they must care
as a human being. You think they even give a fuck?
I bet it was like a game of telephone. Somebody was like, Rashid said that you stole his song.
They missed. It was all crazy.
Because it just seems like someone, if like you were a dancer, a performer, like someone like if MC Hammer was sitting right there right now, and you're like, yo, motherfucker, I can dance better. Like MC Hammer seems like he can get up right now and be like, oh yeah, motherfucker,
and we're back, right? Exactly, right?
Like, all right, motherfucker.
That's what they'll do.
And or if someone's a freestyle rap, you're like, I can rap better than you. You're like, all right, we have microphones here. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And it just seems like they're like, no, talk to my lawyer instead. Right? Which is like some fucking weird shit.
Like that's all I said.
You're doing the Drake, man.
Donnie Wahlberg, call in right now.
That's all I said.
FaceTime in right now.
And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It really, like,
they're not that far. Like, they're like one or two people away.
Right.
You know that. Like JFK knows those motherfuckers.
Somebody's got in their ear, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're all.
They watch the interview.
Oh yeah, they all. Everyone has seen the interview.
Yeah.
They seen a lot. Everyone seen the interview. Trust me, my phone was ringing. Trust me.
Wait till it comes out.
Yeah, I know that didn't come out yet.
Trust me.
We were like spending all that time like trying to get the live stream to work correctly for the first time.
Right. Like, trust me.
When you hit me up, I'm like, wait, we haven't even put it out yet.
So that was funny actually. That was the first time the live stream we did that. And
that actually created some problems. I was like, what? I said, this thing ain't even out yet.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's not even out. And it just said boom, 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 boom. And I was like, wow. And I'm like, man, come on.
Well, anyone that's reached out to you that has anything to do with it, anybody wants to come in and talk about it, we are open to talk to everybody about it because I want all sides of the story of this one because it is interesting. I'm just, it doesn't seem like if no one said anything about it, we would have just moved on from it and like, you know, we're gonna like do a little thing about it.
It's Boston. It's Boston, man. It's like, I mean, it's a family situation, man. Everyone should be having fun. Should be no issues at all. me personally, I don't feel that I did any wrong to anybody at all. I'm just telling my story, man. That's it. And I think it's interesting, and saying, like you said, you guys never heard, you didn't know, whatever case it be.
People that knew you for their whole lives never do this.
No.
People that are like huge in the music industry in Boston that have known you their whole lives did not know what the fuck I was talking about, which is like, which is also weird, by the way.
Yeah,
like when that happens.
But this is the best part of 2025. Is like you were talking about earlier. We're at the age where people can tell their stories,
right,
while they're still alive,
exactly.
But it's stories about stuff that a generation below them grew up to,
right?
Situations.
And also, like, just to like say what it is, like, I don't think anyone that's going to see the New Kids Vegas residency gives a fuck if you stole the song or not stole the song or borrowed the song, covered the song, blatantly stole it. They don't give a fuck. Like, they're going to spend their $200 on fucking bleacher tickets anyways. They do not fucking care.
I mean, we have the frame for the cease and desist right here. It looks so good as a backdrop to the video. That'd be the greatest thing to come out of it. That's what you would like. That's the gold trophy at the end of it.
At the end of the day. Because that was my first concert. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it just full circle for me. So it's just like, it's just crazy to me that it's that big of a deal. That's what's interesting. It's like, okay, what's really going on there? Like, is somebody like scared that someone owes someone money, or maybe the paperwork isn't what people
right?
And we start digging into this paperwork. Maybe someone's name's on it that people think's name isn't on it. You owed $10 million for the past. You know what I'm saying? Like a nickel for every time that song's been played for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just some weird shit. Like, why not just go? Yeah, like, I was fucking Berry Gordy, and I gave different acts the same shit. I fucking Rat Packed them. I did the same shit the Rat Pack did. Sammy Davis sang the same song Sinatra sang the same song Dean Martin sang. Why didn't I? It's what it is. And like fucking, that's what it is. And why not just say that instead of being like, oh, you can't talk about that because people are fucking mad about it. Like,
yeah, like, I mean, it upset.
And so what?
A lot of people.
And if I really like. If I'm your uncle and you're mad about something from 30 years ago, like, maybe I don't even give a fuck. Like deal with it. Like, that's the music business. That's not a lesson. Like, whatever.
It's more or less that, here we are. This is family, and basically, why didn't I mention this 30 plus years ago? But at the end of the day, I did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's not like it was something that I'm going to court for and this, that. It was a friendly conversation about my beginnings to where I'm at. That was it. I didn't come in here to be like, oh, guess what, man? You know what? I got fucked over back in the day. It was nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And just because one person seen it, then got in touch with this person, and that person went back, and and I didn't feel I did anything wrong. And then, and then here's your family hitting you, hey, this is what's going on, man, and this is not right. And I'm like, what? What's happening?
Do you feel like you're getting a little bit of validation now because Edward's making a deal about it? I mean, like, so maybe it's
like, what's the big deal? What's wrong? What happened? Like, I feel this is what's weird for me. I feel that if you're going all the way to the left like this because of what I'm saying, is there really something wrong?
Are you?
Yeah, we're actually your phone blowing up, and I'm like, are you on live right now?
Are you a known shit stirrer in your family?
No, not like that.
So this isn't like,
no.
Oh, here goes Rashid again doing Rashid shit. Like,
no, nothing like that. Like, we're all close. Like, we, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, in 30 years, like, I never.
Have you and your family talked about this in 30 years? Or it's just something you just...
There's family members that I have discussed this with, but I never in the entertainment side of things, inside that circle, I never brought it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, and maybe that's because of the fact that I was doing other things already, so I really didn't. It wasn't no big thing to me as I started moving on, growing. You know what I'm saying? It was no big thing. I wasn't stuck on that. I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm good.
But just because you're also not, just because it is family too, also is a dynamic of like just because you moved on from it and like did what you had to do in life and everything else, doesn't mean that like you can't still look back and be like, yo, that was fucked up.
Right, exactly. I just happen to move on and do other things. You know what I'm saying? In the business.
Yeah.
And like I'm the kind of person that like, if you do some fucked up shit to me, usually I'm not gonna fuck with you again. But like, let's just suppose I do. Like, you have to acknowledge the fuck up thing. We can't just like go about life and like not be like, hey, like, this never happened. Like, eventually I'm gonna lose my fucking mind because like you're faking some shit to me.
I'm kind of curious about when it. Well, basically, my thing is I'm just curious about the management side of things, right? Because we haven't been able to speak to management, well, our former managers, right, on this, you know, because they basically been kind of like off the grid for all these years, right? So I'm kind of like interested in saying, well, did you know this was going to happen like that, and when, and why, and then, you know, saying,
I would love to ask those questions.
Why didn't you, why you didn't inform me at that time, right? And even when I got a chance to see them, I didn't even ask that question because I was already, you know, saying when I heard it, I was like, what? You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not gonna mess with that.
You also the time and a place, and you also don't want to be a fucking bug, and you don't want like
it's
all that shit. That I mean, I'm not there for these, so I don't know, but I just know that like it's just because sometimes you just smile and shake the hand and you wait for the right spot. Maybe the spot don't happen. 10 more years go by. Like now I see you. Like the first thing I'm gonna say after 10 years is this shit. Like I don't want to do that because I don't really care that much. But at the same time, when I'm talking to you, it's in my head, and like the fact that you're not acknowledging it, like I'm peeping that. Like I'm understanding the fact that you're just.
To me, I feel like this. I feel like okay. Yes, this is out there on the internet, right? That this happened, right? It's out there on the internet. But I also feel that it's like that fine print, right? You know how you get shit and it's a fine print. Oh, I gave you some acknowledgement, but it's a fine print that you don't see. You need a you need a microscope to see it, right? That's how I see this right now. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, you know, they're saying, okay, yeah, well, it's on the back of this, it's on the back of that. That's cool.
None of the other members were ever like, man, it's kind of messed up that we didn't get any of the writing credits. You know what's funny? Star got them all.
It's funny because me and one of the other lead singers, we in the last several years with kids, we always speak that they're doing their own business. Yeah, they got artists that they're dealing with. I see some of the other members if I'm in town and I'm doing different shows, whatever, and they got other shit going on in their lives too. There's a few of them I haven't seen, but no one's never mentioned it. Right now, like I said, a few days ago when I spoke to one of the lead singers and I spoke to one of the other members that was part of, you know, this situation, they both said, you know what I mean, like, bam. What happened, you know, what's going on, where's, you know, saying about credits and all that other type of stuff. So they feel some type of way. And but I don't think they ever spoke on it either. And if they did,
well, so I didn't read the article that you sent us saying this, like, because I know you Googled it, and there's articles about this particular situation, this exact situation is out right now. That they were written like a while ago, like not even like it's not like that exclusive now.
Exactly.
So who talked then?
Right.
Did you ever read the article? I didn't read the article. Did you read the article?
I read it. When I read that about, you know, this being done before in the cover, I was like, whoa, because I didn't know that was out there.
So when he sent you that article, was the first time you saw that?
I sent it to him. Okay, right? I ended up catching it. I was like, whoa, I didn't know this was, because I didn't see this out there before. You know how sometimes when you Google shit, I didn't see this several years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see that. So somewhere down the line, somebody is placing things in certain places on this internet.
But no one reached out to you to get a code or anything like that.
No,
not that you know.
No,
right?
You know what I mean.
And when you talk to the other group members, nobody said.
Yeah, right.
No one reached out
because it changes. Like, because I'm telling you.
So I wonder who the fuck, like who, if only a handful of people know this, who would?
Because I'm telling you,
pretend we were the first.
Yeah, like
let's take that under the rug.
Well, it's just interesting once again because someone that was like in your camp talking about this.
Somebody somewhere is talking about it because I remember one time Googling like in 2007, you would actually see the 12-inch and the colorful stuff that was on the 12-inch When you Google it at now,
buy that now.
you don't see that. You don't see that now on there. So I don't know if someone took it off or it was, whatever case it be.
You're saying the packaging was
the pack is changed. It's different because when what you pulled up is you see how it says the original such and such, but that wasn't there back then. Mm-hmm. You see the actual 12-inch dub version that came from the label and said promo only on that. You know what I'm saying? That was different. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any of those left? Physical copies?
Somewhere. Probably stored somewhere.
Yeah.
That and a few of my family members and stuff like that. But yeah, we were just discussing that also the other night. I was
because all you can do is just find it. You're like, right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite sure there's round.
Like bring one here, put a record player right here, we'll play the fucking game.
Like I had the actual cassette of the album. You know what I'm saying? It's somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, bring the the
memorabilia.
Well, like an old YouTube video is like, but like bring the fucking physical piece of fucking media in and be like, no, this is a real thing that actually fucking exists. Like it's not
exactly.
It's weird.
Like I said, man, I didn't have no malice towards nobody in my heart, no nothing, man. I'm just telling you.
I mean, I don't feel like you do. You still don't.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Saying it. I didn't come out here to say, oh man, we're gonna get financial gain off this, whatever the case may be. It wasn't no shit like that. You know what I mean? We're just having fun, just having a great time, doing what we do, talking about what's happening, where we at, where we going. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of good people out there, man, I've dealt with. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit I handled today. You know what I mean? A lot, man, especially independent artist-wise. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit. So I just don't get it. It's just kind of crazy, man.
Fucking, I want to get into all that other independent artist shit, but we don't obviously have time.
Yeah, no, we don't have time today. We
needed to go back to the. We got
so much stuff. We got to go back to Dr. Dre. I want to start it right there.
Yeah,
all this shit and stuff like that. Today was a specific day to come in and just
kind of like
encapsulate this.
Yeah,
like just so there's not like we can put a cap on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before you got to go do what you got to do. We want to make sure we have another piece.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So we'll actually put those two pieces together. We'll put them out like next week or something like that.
Yeah, man, because
we'll figure that out.
Like I said, just if you're an independent artist out there, just make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's.
So going forward, just to cap this particular thing up, going forward, we're gonna try to do like a couple, like a longer interview. Right. A couple months from now, I'm gonna put together something in. Mm-hmm. We're gonna pull a couple people from this from the situation in. We're gonna do that. We're gonna get all situated. Right. But for right now, I mean. That's what it is. It's what it is. No malice, no foul.
Nothing, man.
Nothing, man. No bad energy. It's just, just these things happened. It's interesting. It's music history.
It's a glimpse behind the curtain is what it is.
That's all it is.
And just pay attention, man. So Rashid, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this thing up?
Man, I just want to say, man, I appreciate you all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate you all. You all got a great show, man. You got a great platform.
Thank you.
And anyone that's out there, man, definitely needs to tap in with you all. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you
exactly,
for that, man.
For real.
Yeah, appreciate you for that, man. Ben.
Like and subscribe.
Sense lives, Marty forever, fuck her chilling.
Peace.